Have you ever wondered how the rich stay rich, even during these trying times with the coronavirus taking a hard toll on the economy? The wealthy might be managing their money a little differently than the rest of us. Certified financial planner and president of Shakiba Capital, Trevor Shakiba, is sharing tips to help us manage our finances like the rich. Trevor, okay, how rich are we talking? Are we talking about millionaires? And can just the rest of us, regular people, can we really learn something from this strategy?
Well, look, I think so. I found this article a few days ago, and it detailed what they did. And we're probably talking about people that have a seven-figure net worth or more. But what they did during March, when all of this volatility was really going on, it was very interesting to compare that to everybody else. And look, the first thing you want to do when it comes to building wealth is just copy what people that have a lot of wealth have done. So I think there's a lot of tips that we can learn from this.
Okay, and let's talk about some of these wealthy investors who we saw as the stock market took the crash that we saw over the past couple months. A lot of the wealthy investors were actually buying during that time, which seems counterintuitive to many folks out there.
Yeah, and it's difficult because whenever you talk about money and investments and retirement, it gets emotional. But my first tip is hey, they think differently. And so what I always say is you don't want to be doing what everyone else is doing. So when the market was going down and everybody was panicking, that is the wrong thing. A lot of very successful investors were looking at it as an opportunity, kind of like 2008 and 09. To think back to that, the Dow actually got down to 6,600 in March of 09. That's stunning, even now with the market down from where it is. So I always advise don't make investment decisions based on fear. And then maybe a good question to ask right now, even though the market's come back some, is where are the opportunities?
And when you say where are the opportunities, Trevor, could you be just more specific? Essentially, do you mean people should be buying, or if they have extra cash, they could be buying essentially the market on sale, which you've mentioned on the show before, buying at a cheaper price?
Yeah, and that's exactly the right way to look at it. When you look at the stock market, don't forget that it's actually made up of individual companies in the United States and international. So you're investing in those companies at a cheaper price. And so that's the way to look at it, whether that's through your 401k or you actually have some additional cash that you want to put to work. We're going to talk about a couple of these other things. But yeah, where's the opportunity to perhaps invest at a great price point when the market recovers?
What about folks out there who are maybe concerned, Trevor, that now is not the time to do anything, right? Like we've heard you say many times, don't react emotionally, don't do anything out of fear. What about people who just want to sit back and say, okay, I'm going to ride out this storm, I'm not going to touch anything I may have invested?
Well, not touching it is actually probably a really good thing to do as opposed to selling it when the market's down. Really, my point here is that if you've been waiting for the market to eventually correct and you're still on the sidelines, at some point you've got to act. My point here is that if you wait till there's no uncertainty, or let's say there's a vaccine that finally comes out, the market will have already recovered. You would have missed the opportunity. So eventually at some point you've got to act. And think from a long-term perspective. Remember, there's never been a time historically, Derek, where the market hasn't eventually bottomed and recovered and then gone higher. So optimism is the only realism, and you've got to find a way to start putting that cash maybe on the sidelines to work.
Back in grade school, a lot of us early on, we learned this whole concept of compound interest, Trevor. And right now in the market, you say that there is huge opportunity because this growth really is exponential if people are smart and strategic right now.
Well, that's exactly right? If you go back and you look at where we were, February 12th to be exact, the Dow was at 29,500. Everything was bouncing along fine. We were pushing 30,000. 35 or 40 days later, the Dow's at 18,000. That is unprecedented, don't get me wrong, but if you look back on that in 5, 8, 10, 12 years, that will be an unbelievable opportunity to have purchased some of the greatest companies in the world. And so that's my point there. And as you know, the sooner you get your money to work, the better, no matter where the market's at, because you're going to see dividends typically with a lot of the larger companies. And compounding interest, as you mentioned, does not work unless it's invested.
Interesting. So what goes down must come up, right? The opposite of what we've always learned. Let's talk about Roth IRAs. And this is something, Trevor, you're a big fan of.
Yeah, in fact, I said this might be the greatest investing or most powerful investing mechanism ever, trying to get everyone's attention. And really what I'm referring to there is that Roth IRAs provide tax-free compounded wealth, which is unbelievable. Once it's in this tax-free vehicle, it's never taxed again. And so my question to all the viewers is, do you have a Roth IRA? And if not, why not? There's many different ways we can get one. If you make too much money to contribute, we can find some different strategies to do that. But 529 would also be an example for education. Tax-free compounded wealth is so, so important.
And Trevor, we're out of time, but maybe next time we can discuss a Roth conversion strategy. This is something that maybe sounds a little more complicated than we can explain in 10 seconds, but essentially because taxable income for some people may be down because of COVID-19, there are ways that you can maximize your earnings.
Yeah, exactly. Just quickly, how can you get more of your wealth in a tax-free position? That's always a good thing moving forward.
It certainly is. Trevor Shakiba, thank you so much for your sound advice as always. And in the meantime, to our viewers, if you would like to connect to Trevor, you can visit ShakibaCapital.com.